Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mommy Trainee. Today I have a tip video for you, specifically on hotel stay while you travel. Some of these tips are just general tips that I use every single time I travel, and a couple of these are specific for traveling with younger kids like babies and toddlers. I recently traveled with my family, with my 4-year-old son to celebrate his birthday at an indoor water park that's not that far from our home, but we did have to stay overnight at the hotel. And I realized that there are a lot of things that I normally do or bring to a hotel that is, I don't know if other people do it, but I do it almost every single time. So I gathered 10 tips that is very helpful, and I do it almost every single time when we travel. So let's get started. Tip number 1, bring extra bags. Now, I bring a few types of extra bags, and again, it doesn't have to be like new or completely clean. It could be some bags that you have lightly used, whatever bag that you could gather, just bring a few. I generally bring 3 types of bags with me. The first type of bag is Ziplocs. I bring usually 2 sizes. One is a gallon size, one is a sandwich size. Now, I know for sure that the gallon size bag, I have one specific use, and that is to hold the remote control on, in the hotel room, the TV remote control. Because one of the studies that I have read is that the TV remote in a hotel room is never clean. It's actually, if you actually take like one of those germ tests, or I don't know what those tests are called, where they, have the, I don't know, swap it and put it in a machine and it has like a reading. The remote control is actually dirtier than the toilet or the bathroom or the carpet. And the carpet is hardly clean. And if it's dirtier than the carpet, it's dirty. Okay. So what I do is when I have a Ziploc bag, gallon size, shove the remote in there and zip it up. And it functions very well because it's a clear plastic. But it kind of saved me time to not have to clean their remote control. So that's the first main use of my gallon Ziploc bag. I mean, there are other use. Every single trip is different, and there are always some type of stuff that you sometimes wanted to separate. You might want to bring some clean gallon Ziploc bag if you plan to like eat inside of the hotel room. So if you have any leftovers, you could separate it. Instead of having the boxes, you could put it into a Ziploc bag, put it into the fridge, because usually the fridge that is in the hotel room is very, very small. And if you have like cartons that comes with like the takeouts that you have, you might not be able to fit everything in there. So I usually just bring some clean, some used Ziploc bag. One of the things that I find is very useful when I was in the at the water park is that on our last day of, we checked out during the day, but we could actually still use the water park. So we are planning to just go to the water park for maybe another 2-3 hours. And we don't want to spend another $15 to rent a locker that's inside of the park. So what we decided is that we wanted to use our car as our locker. We parked the car very close to the entrance, so when we are done with all the water park stuff, we go back to the car, get the clean clothes and shower, and then change and go back to the car. So that we don't have to spend like $15 for the rental, the locker rental, which is really small anyway. But the one thing is that when we do that, the one thing that we have to solve for is we have the key fob, which cannot be wet, obviously, because it's electronic. So what do? I whip out a sandwich bag, put the remote inside, zip it up, done. The key fob is completely, I mean, you could double back it if you have extra bag if you want it to be extra safe, but usually Ziploc bag is pretty waterproof. And if you just kind of like roll it together, maybe double bag it, you'll be completely fine even in a water park. So that was like a lifesaver for that day, like save us $15 just right there. Now, the second type of bag that I would actually bring is used shopping bags. This is pretty obvious. You just basically gather all the shopping bags that you have when you're shopping for groceries and just kind of like flatten it. It doesn't really, take a lot of space or weight a lot. But then when you have stuff that you have to separate, like dirty laundry, I mean, I know that hotel rooms, they give you like laundry bags, but there's usually like nowadays, I don't know if it's budget cutting or something, the laundry bag, it's like as small as your shopping bag anyway. In the past, they used to give you like large laundry bag that is actually good for at least one load of small laundry. Nowadays, it's really small. Like literally, it is the size of my Target bag. And obviously in a family of three, there's three of us, so one little bag is not gonna cut it. And if you ask them for extra bag, it'll probably take them hours, and when they probably bring it to the room, it's by the time you're actually asleep already. So I usually like to bring extra bags so that I could separate certain things, especially going to a water park. Excuse me. You have a lot of wet stuff like shoes, a lot of, swimming suits, swimming gears, goggles, everything is wet. And if you really wanted to separate it, like after you're done, you need to pack up and go, you need something that helps you separate the clean and the dirty stuff. Or even if it's not, a water park type of travel that you're doing, just like dirty laundry, I like to separate my socks from everything else, or my other dirtier, more soil type of dirty stuff separately, and then the cleaner stuff like undergarments and stuff in a separate bag as well. So I have a certain way of kind of separating my dirty laundry. Or if you travel with kids or babies, if you have anything that's a little soil and you don't want to be doing laundry, like, let's just say if your son or daughter or baby puke and there is stuff that gets into their clothes and you don't want to do laundry, there is extra bags for you to, just put it in, seal it, and put it in with the other dirty stuff, and you're good to go. Now, the last type of bags that I like to bring is garbage bag. Bring the biggest garbage bag there is. And these I usually just try to bring new. They don't take a lot of space, but they have a few uses. One, if you're the type that doesn't trust the hotel cleaning, their coffee table or their table, especially if you eat there, to save your time and your effort to clean the tables, put out a big garbage bag, your biggest garbage bag there is, line the table, put the stuff on it, do whatever you want. Afterwards, you could still, put it back together, bring it home, and you can still use it as a garbage bag. Another type of use is that if you have a younger son that you want them to be independent, like especially when they are putting their socks on, putting their shoes on. And in my family, we don't put shoes on beds or anywhere else. We put it on where like the entrance or the exit of the houses, the foyer, the garage and stuff like that. But at a hotel room, these areas are usually very, very dirty. Again, carpet in a hotel room rarely really get clean. So the floor, the carpet is really yucky, especially when you are dealing with indoor water park type of hotel. There might be molds growing in there for all I know. So if you have a really big garbage bag, you could actually line it up at the area where they actually put their shoes on, because they can't really stand. They have to sit down, their hands are like all over the carpet. But if you have something to line the carpet, at least they're not really using their hands touching the floors and things like that. So you could just line that area, put the shoes on, let them sit there if they want, and they could still do their usual, dressed up and stuff. And it's not going to be like their butt is not going to be touching the floor, their hands not going to be touching the carpet and things like that. So those are two main uses. Obviously, every trip is different. There are certain times that you might have some other use of it. I personally don't think that having extra bag is going to be like, even if I don't use it and just bring it right home, I feel like at least I'm prepared. And it's something that if you're prepared, even if you have to bring it home, I think it's fine. It doesn't cost a lot of space. It doesn't weigh a lot. I mean, I just think that I feel a lot better if I'm prepared in that way. So those are the three types of bags that I normally would bring. Another thing is that with the shopping bag, like the Target type of shopping bag where there are like ears, like handles, what I sometimes do is I would use one of those hangers and put the one of the handles on it and hook it back up on the hanger, and then leave one side of it unhooked, so you could just as you have stuff, you could use it like a hamper and just kind of dump stuff into it. So there are quite a lot of different uses of if you have a lot of these extra bags laying around. So that's tip number one. That's one of my biggest tip. I always bring like tons and tons of extra bags. Tip number two, it has to do with how the hotel room smells. Sometimes they have, I mean, you could request rooms that are, smoke free, and it's not going to have that, smoky smell, but sometimes people still smoke in there. And sometimes some rooms just have like a musky smell. I don't know what it is, like a stale smell, some kind of smell. So I normally, if I could, especially on a road trip, I normally like to bring a diffuser. So if I'm traveling further away, like if I have to take a plane, or like if it's further away, I have a lot of things to pack, I might choose to bring a smaller diffuser, or a more portable ones, so I could just kind of like turn on the diffuser and just kind of go like incense type of, go around the room and just kind of make sure that the smell is gone. I sometimes like to bring a bigger, like a full-size diffuser where it has some kind of night light. So if you have kids, you know that, when they're in a new environment, sometimes they're scared. If you turn off the light, they don't even know where you are because it's not the environment that they're used to be in. They don't, I mean, all of a sudden when they wake up in the middle of the night, they don't remember where you are. They just know that, oh, this is pitch dark and this is not my room, and they get scared and they cry. So having a little like diffuser that has nightlight kind of give them a sense of security. And quite honestly, even for adults, since it's not an environment that you're used to, let's just say if you have to get up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I don't even know where my phone is. Usually you to pick up your phone and do the flashlight and then you try to find your way around. Sometimes I don't even know where my phone is. So if you have a diffuser that has some kind of nightlight, at least it has some kind of sense of direction as to where you are when you wake up in the middle of the night, pitch dark, and you would still be able to find certain things, or maybe even without getting your phone, you'll be able to find your way to the bathroom and things like that. So having a diffuser / nightlight, it's a very handy thing to have when you're traveling in a hotel room. Tip number 3 is specifically for kids, like younger kids. When you go to a hotel room, you sometimes just book a room with like 2 doubles. These beds are high, so if you have a toddler, you don't really know if you're comfortable with putting them on a high bed like that. There are quite a few options for you. And one of the options that I normally would try to go for if we're doing road trips, at least if we're doing road trips, if we're flying, then, this option is pretty much kind of out for us, is to bring a pack and play if they could still fit in it. My son at home, he's already sleeping in toddler beds, obviously. He's 4 years old. But he actually feels very secure and comfortable in his pack and play as well. So we never actually, disassembled the pack and play that he used to sleep in. He still sometimes like to go in there, watch TV, or just rest there. So when we travel on a road trip, we would try to see if we could bring the pack and play with the mattress for him. Obviously, this is not always going to be possible because pack and play, even though it's compact, it takes up a lot of space, pretty heavy. We do it if we could, but if we can't do it, there are still options. So one is if you have 2 beds, and if it's a bed that you could like kind of move it together, you could just move the 2 beds together, have them sleep in the middle. If there is only 1 bed, let's just say if your room has only 1 king size bed, there are 2 options that you could do. One is obviously you would try to have him sleep in the center. If there's 2 of you, the parents, you would try to have him sleep at the center. My son is the type that rolls everywhere. He could roll over a mountain. He could roll over me. So another thing that I do is to have him obviously sleep in the middle, but on the side of the bed, we try to move some soft chair, like if they have any like chair that has some cushion, move them to the side of the bed so that at least if they really do fall, it's not going to be all the way, like it's not going to be a hard fall like from the it's not going to be a very high fall to the floor. Even though it's carpeted, it's still hard. Another thing that you might want to do is bring some like big towels from the bathroom. Bring the biggest one that you could find. Roll them up in a roll, so it's kind of like a roll of bread or something really big. So go to the side of the bed, kind of untuck the fitted sheet, put the roll of towel below the fitted sheet and then retuck the fitted sheet. So it kind of gives a little bumper on the side of the bed, so that if they are not, if your kid is not like my son could roll over a mountain, that could really stop them from, like, if they just kind of like, oh, okay, that's the end of it, they won't just kind of flip over and fall over. But even with that, I would suggest, if you have any chair, put some chair behind it, or obviously, if you could move the bed to like the side of the wall, like to kind of be flush to the wall, do that too. For us, the last trip that we took to the water park, that hotel, we cannot do that because the bed was so heavy. So we're actually very glad that we brought our pack and play. And we even bought like a small like stuffed animal that he usually liked to hug at night, and his pillow and his blanket, obviously. So it's like his whole bed. But if you don't have that, there are, options that you could try to make sure that when they are staying on a higher bed, they are still relatively safe. Some people, I mean, obviously, there's the option of sofa bed. I'm not comfortable with sofa bed. Even for me, sleeping on a sofa bed, I don't really feel comfortable. One is, sofa bed is almost never clean. There are a lot of dust going into all the nooks and crannies, and then when you unfold it, I mean, the sofa bed itself, the mattress is not comfortable, and obviously you could still fall off the bed. It's just a little bit lower, but you could still fall off the bed. And usually with sofa bed, the side, the side of the bed where it has the mattress is usually a little bit smaller than the bed frame, so it's not really all that comfortable. Like, if they actually roll over and fall, like, that could actually hurt them. So that's not really an option for us. I would say that combining the bed, or have the bed move over to like be flush to the wall, is the best. Other than that, the roll of towels going under the fitted sheet, or maybe you could put some like pillows on there, but it's very easy to kick off the pillows. So it's really not a really great option. I don't feel as secure as if I have like a tuck of, towels by this, like, it's kind of like a bumper that cannot be moved. So I feel a little bit better with that scenario. So that's the bed situation. I guess tip number like 3B would be outlets, wall outlets, like kind of baby proof the wall outlets. I mean, obviously at home we have plates that we put into the wall outlets, so that even when he's like curious what that is and go and play with it, he's not going to be in real danger. In hotel rooms, obviously you're not going to be doing all that. So bring a roll of tape, whatever tape that you could find, duct tape or like painter's tape or whatever tape that you could find, or even scotch tape. Just tape over the wall outlet. At least like they have to kind of go through some trouble. By the time they actually like peel it off, hopefully you'll be catching them playing with the outlet and say, no, time out. So that's tip number 3. It's basically, your kids, where to put, how to baby proof the room a little bit, and, where your kids could actually sleep. Number 4, bring slippers or very thick socks. I prefer slippers between the two. Now, obviously you normally would be wearing outside whatever footwear that you wear, sneakers, shoes, high heels, whatnot. Obviously, when you come back to the hotel room, you're trying to unwind, you're not going to be wearing your outside shoes everywhere. So bring slippers, it's comfortable. And a lot of people would try to go bare feet just to avoid bringing extra stuff. But again, hotel carpets are almost never clean. And everyone wears their outside shoes everywhere, even on beds, on the comforters. Yuck. So I usually bring slippers because obviously you walk around on the carpet, you walk into the bathroom, you don't want to be barefoot. At least I don't want to be. Some people like to bring extra thick socks. You could do that too, like those hotel socks where like at the bottom of the socks it has like rubbery stuff, so you have tractions and stuff. You could do that too. But there was this one time, I have a lot of horror hotel stories, cleanliness stories that I could tell, but I'm not going to bore you with that today. But there was one time, there was this hotel tub that the cleanliness was very questionable. And quite honestly, I don't want to be setting my foot in there. But I think I went to the hotel at like a time of convention, so the whole hotel was fully booked. I cannot switch my room or do anything like that. So I basically had to brave it. But good thing I have my slippers, so I kind of wear my slippers inside of the tub, which I find it's kind of weird, but at the same time, I feel kind of good because I know that I'm not touching anything with my bare foot. So bring slippers or socks. You can still wear socks inside of your tub. It's just that, then you have wet socks to deal with. So I kind of like the slipper idea. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5. Hotel beds are dirty. Dare I say it, it's dirty. Even if it looks clean. I've had experience where I went to a relatively new hotel, they've been open for maybe like 4 or 5 months. Everything looks pristine, looks clean. After I slept in it for a night, the next day, I had rashes all over my head, my neck, a little bit on my neck, my arm. So ever since that experience that I've had, I try to, bring something to make sure that I am protected. Obviously, wear long sleeves, like light layers, obviously. Long shirt, don't wear shorts, like wear long pants. You could even, turn on the AC and wear socks. But there are 2 things that I normally like to bring. One, it's a very big t-shirt. Any big t-shirt that could be used as a pillowcase. So what I like to do is I like to kind of like turn the t-shirt around so that the outside is in and use it as a t-shirt. If need be, if I run out of tops, at the end of the day, I could still use that top as a t-shirt. The second thing that I wanted to bring is a flat sheet. Is it a flat sheet? Yeah, a flat sheet, not the fitted, not the one that fits under the carpet, not the carpet, the mattress, but the flat sheet that goes on top. One, you could line the sleeping surface, obviously, and 2, you could actually use it as like even kind of like line your comforter inside, or you could just use it as a light layer. Like in the summertime, if you don't really need the actual comforter, you might not want to actually use it because it's dirty. You might just use that as covering yourself and maybe not turn on that much AC, and basically it has multiple purpose. So you could line the surface of your bed, you could use it as a comforter, or you could use it to line your comforter. So it's actually the reason why I bring a flat sheet instead of a fitted sheet is that it also folds a little bit more compact. And if you actually wanted to like use that flat sheet to cover yourself, it's easier. The fitted sheet usually it's a little like it's scrunch up and you can't really cover everything. You have to like maneuver it really, really hard. So I find that a flat sheet is actually a little bit more comfortable. Number 6, if you could, bring your own towel. It doesn't have to be like a fluffy big towel. Just bring like a beach towel, something light, something that dries up very, very quickly. Because hotel towels, even though I'm sure they washed it before they put it into your room, but people do all kinds of different things with the hotel towels before your stay. Example, they put a towel right next to the tub so that you could use that towel to put it on the floor as a mat. And I am guilty myself to use a lot of towels to line surfaces. Like I would like the toilet seat, when I put it down, if I want to put stuff on it, I use a towel to line it. The sink, I use a towel to line it so that water don't pool around the sink, and I have like a cleaner surface to put my stuff. I use the hotel towels to clean bottles that after I use my whatever bottles that I have, like shampoo, conditioner, I use those towels to clean and dry my bottles before I go. I mean there are all types of things that I've seen people use it as like at the front, like at the foyer, at the entrance, they use it as like a floor mat, and they put their dirty shoes on it and all that. I mean, quite honestly, it's dirty. Do you really want to have those towels wiping your body? So if you could bring your own towel, something that dries really quickly, that would be ideal. Tip number 7, bring snacks. Now, especially if you're traveling with kids. I mean, kids of any age, even up to like 10, 13, 15, bring snacks. Even if you're not traveling with kids, what I sometimes do is I bring some cup noodles just for those very late night, or there are times that you don't even want to go out to buy anything to eat, or you don't want to be calling room service. There, you just need a little something to get you going at night, and you're tired, you just wanted to get something and get it over with. Like cup noodles are, it's not healthy for you, but it will get you through the night. Some like individual packaged snacks for the kids, whatever that they are comfortable with. Juices, like small juice box for them. For the cup noodles, usually hotels do have like coffee maker. Just you make your water there. And I've actually seen people actually cook instant noodle inside of the inside of the coffee maker. So it's just a little something to get you through the night, have something to drink, have a little something to eat, maybe even like healthy fruit like applesauce, or maybe a banana. But banana, and like if you don't eat, like then if you bring some fresh fruit, you are kind of forced to eat it because you don't want to be bringing it back. So that's why I like the the packaged food a little bit more. So that's something that I almost have to utilize every single time when I travel. Number 8, sometimes hotel might not be the quietest place to sleep in. There are times that there are people just outside walking back and forth, running around and talking very, very loudly, or the neighboring room, the walls are thin, you could still hear them talking or walking, or their shower and things like that. So sometimes if you could bring your own tunes to kind of drown out the outside noise, especially if you have a kid, that that these sounds are quite distracting. So but when you are putting on some music that they are familiar with, they'll feel a little bit more secure. They would pay less attention to the outside world and more from within the room. So bring some tunes, music, soft music, cartoon music, whatever music that they like, or whatever music that you like. And sometimes, like, you don't want to be bringing extra equipment for the music either. So for music nowadays, we put everything into our phone. Obviously, make sure that you have a charger with your phone. That's obvious. But then if you wanted to play some music throughout the room, especially if you have like a larger room and higher ceiling, a speaker from a cell phone is not going to, the sound is not going to travel that far. So what you can do is, if you put the music on and then put your phone inside of a mug or a cup or whatever, like, dome size, type of, shape that you could put it into, it actually magnifies the sound a little bit, so it travels further. And if you just put that phone in a mug near wherever you guys are, it's actually usually it would suffice and drown out the outside noise. Tip number 9, make sure you do one last walkthrough after you're packed and ready to go. So what I usually do is, once we pack everything, load everything into the car, that car goes like pretty much out the door, and I would be the one that actually goes back into the room and kind of walk through the room a little bit, from like the furthest point going through to the entrance. And then the few places that you usually want to double triple check is the safety deposit box, if you put anything in there, and the fridge, and then anything in the bathroom that could be covered with like a towel. Sometimes things could get messy, towels got thrown everywhere. Go through the beds and see if there's any like hidden t-shirt after you change that is still there, that's under the comforter, under the bed, under the pillow, or anything like that. So just do one walkthrough on those specific places. Number 10, which some people would say that it should be tip number 1, but tip number 10 is actually try to get an upgrade when you check in. Now, if you check in a little earlier during the day, when you ask for check-in, when you ask for upgrade, sometimes they don't really like to give it to you, because throughout the rest of the day, they might think that, hey, I might have someone just walking in, and if I give you an upgrade, I have one less better room for the other people. But if you check it at a later time, sometimes they would sometimes even offer you, but at least you would ask. The second thing is that if you ask for upgrade, usually the people that are working there, this is actually from a person that used to work at a hotel, and she told me that, hey, they usually, even if they have rooms, if you are not nice to them, they would not give you the upgrade. So just try to be nice. And if you're staying for like one night or maybe 1 or 2 nights, it's actually easier for them to give you an upgrade because it's just like the time period is just so flexible. At most, they are just upgrading you for one night. So that's usually a little bit easier. If you stay for like 3 weeks, I think it would be a little bit harder. So ask for upgrades. I hope you find these 10 tips useful. If you like this video, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Mommy Trainee, and make sure you turn on the notification as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.